Okay, this is the last one that I'm recording today, so my voice is a little tired. Haven't done some teaching in a while, but here we are. This is going to be note names on the staff. So we've talked about rhythm, we've talked about note and rest lengths, and so now we're going to work on note names. So then we can start putting things together and start having note names and rhythm, and then that is the beginnings of reading music. So, note names on the staff. Here we go. Remember, for treble clef, and for any clef, and for any staff ever, we have 5 lines and 4 spaces. And remember how we talked about the treble clef is higher than the bass clef. So that's some things to remember about this. Here we have treble clef lines. So the lines of the treble clef are from low to high, E, G, B, D, F. So line 1, remember, is which line, the top or the bottom? Think about that for a second. If you said line 1 is the bottom line, you are correct, which would make line 5 the top line. So we've got E, G, B, D, and then F. And here is just an example. So you can see E is the very bottom line, and then it goes up to F. Line 1 is the bottom, line 5 is the top. So there are ways to remember these different names for the lines and spaces. The one that we can use for the treble clef is every good boy deserves fudge. And you can see that right here. That is our acronym for this one, or at least it's my acronym that I used when I was learning these. Every good boy deserves fudge. So why don't you think of one? If you're watching this, you won't be able to work in a breakout group, but why don't you think of one on your own? You can comment it under the video, or you can send me an email of your acronym. So coming up with a word that fits for each of these. Another one is even George Bush drives fast. That was one that my mom used to say when I was a kid. So each word starts with the letters that you have for the lines on the staff. So go ahead and think of one of those. Either email it to me or comment it under the video. And remember, these help us remember the lines on treble clef from low to high, from line 1 to line 5. So make sure that you're thinking about that and not thinking of it this way, but thinking of it going upward. So if we go by the musical alphabet, which is only letters A through G, we can figure out the names of the spaces. So if we had E, G, B, D, and then F, what would the spaces be? We have E, and then the next letter would be F, G, and then we have A, B, C, D, E, and F. So when you get to G, you start over at A. So don't forget about that. And then also the bottom space would be F, the top space would be E. So if we are going by the musical alphabet, we fill in all of those. The letters of the spaces are F, A, C, E, which spells the word face. So you don't need to think of an acronym for that one because it spells a real word. Face is a real word, so we can use that to remember the spaces from low to high. And since that's already a word, we don't need an acronym. All right, so now I'm going to show notes on the treble clef staff in both the lines and the spaces. And I want you to think of your answer while I show it to you. And then you can either write it down on a piece of paper or you can comment it under the video. And then you will send your answer when you are done. So here's our first one. What note is this? Think about it for a second. If you need more time, go ahead and pause. I'm going to go to the next slide. It is C. So we have, you can't see that. We have F, A, C, which is the third space, and then E. So we know that C is that third space there. What about this one? It's on the bottom line. So we have to use the acronyms that we came up with. And here's the answer. It's E. So we have E, G, B, D, F. So you can say every good boy deserves fudge or whatever acronym you're using. And then we've got E as the very bottom line. What about this one? Again, it's on a line and we just did a line one. So think of your acronym in your head. Here's the answer. B. E, G, B, the third line, D, and then F. Here's another one. It's on the fourth space. So think of space, face, and the answer is E. F-A-C-E. Space, face, E. Here's another one. Again, it's on a space. So think of, for treble clef, space, face, and that is F. So we've got F-A-C-E. Here's another one. Second line, so you need to think of your acronym instead of space, face. And here's the answer. G. E, G, B, D, and then F. All right. Now this is a really good game. So even if you were watching this later, I think you should go to this website. You can put in, if you Google Treble Clef note identification game or even just note identification game, it will bring this up. Make sure you are playing right now for treble clef only, since we haven't talked about the bass clef ones yet. So go ahead and pause, go play that game for 5-10 minutes, and then come back. All right, so here are bass clef lines. Again, we go from low to high. So make sure that you are getting those in order. Remember, the bass clef is lower than the treble clef too. And the lines of the bass clef are G, B, D, F, A. So here's a picture of that. We've got G on the bottom, and then D, B, D, F, and then A. So remember the acronym that we used, every good boy deserves fudge? You can switch that around if you want to. And you can do good boys deserve fudge always, or the one I made up is goat boats don't float anymore. I just thought that was funny. So you can, for this little project or assignment, I want you to go to Flipgrid, and there's going to be an assignment on there for bass clef acronym. And I want you to either tell me your acronym out loud with the order G, B, D, F, A, or you can write it down on a piece of paper and you can show it to me in your Flipgrid. And then after you're done with that, I want you to come back and I want you to type it in the, if you can do a response on this, leave a comment and let me know what your acronym is. Now we're going to do bass clef spaces. So if we had G, B, D, F, A, we can fill in the spaces using the musical alphabet. So since we only go to G and then we start over, the next one after G will be A. So we've got G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then A. So our spaces are A, C, E, and G. And don't forget that it always goes from low to high. So make sure that you always get that in the right order, from low to high, A, C, E, G. My favorite acronym for A, C, E, G, which is bass clef spaces, is all cows eat grass. And you can also do all cars eat gas, which is funny because cars don't really eat, but they do need gas. So all cows eat grass, all cars eat gas, whatever acronym you want to use for that. But remember that the bass clef and the treble clef have different note names, so make sure you don't get them mixed up. Here is a game. Again, exactly the same as before, so either write down your answer before I show it to you, or put it in the comments, or whatever you would like to do for this. So we're looking at this note, which is the fourth space. So remember your acronym for spaces, and here's the answer. This is a G because all cows eat grass. So then that would make that G. Here's the next one. There are two ways you can think about it. You can either think about the acronym that we used for the lines in the bass clef, or you can think about, we just did G, that was the top space, right? So if you go backward one in the alphabet, what do you have right before G? Here's the answer. You've got F. So we have G, B, D, F, A. Good boys deserve fudge always, goat boats, whatever acronym you want to use. That is F. Here's another one. We're back into space. So think about the other acronym. I know it's a lot to think about, but we've got the second space. Here's the answer. This is a C. All cows eat grass. So the acronyms just help you figure out exactly where everything is. And then you're going to go back to the same site, to this classicsforkids.com, and then you'll have to select bass clef on the game. So I can show you that really quickly. I don't think I can actually click on this, but I should be able to copy and paste it. There we go. We will go to here, maybe, and I will put it in here. And so you will have to choose the bass clef there, you can see. And then it will do the game for you with bass clef. So there is that. Have fun playing the game. And if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you. Have fun.